Morning, guys. We're on Micah chapter 4, reading from verse 6 to 8. In that day, declares the Lord, I will assemble the lame and gather the outcasts, even those whom I have afflicted. And so as Micah has prophesied that Israel, southern kingdom, and Jerusalem will be taken out, it's inevitable. They've turned away from God, and that the city will be turned to dust and ashes. And but however, the good news is there's a day coming, and the day is when Christ returns, and he's going to restore much of that kingdom. And it says in that day, that's the millennium day when Jesus is ruling on earth, he'll assemble the lame, he'll gather the outcasts and the afflicted, and he'll restore them. It says, I will make the lame, in verse 7, a remnant, and the outcasts a strong nation, and the Lord will reign over them in Mount Zion from now on and forever. And so that once that kingdom's established, his rule is forever. And even after 1,000 years, Satan comes and tries to take it back, but he flattens Satan and locks him up in hell forever and ever. And so we look forward to a time where there will be this peace, there will be this restoration. Verse 8, as for you, tower of the flock. And that tower of the flock is mentioned in Genesis 35. Then Israel journeyed on and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder, which is near Bethlehem. Some say it is Bethlehem, some say it's where the shepherds were guarding the flock. But most people say it refers to Jerusalem itself, and that Jesus will be the shepherd over his people, over his sheep, and he'll restore that nation back to himself, and that he's watching over that flock. In Zephaniah 3:19 it says, behold, I am going to deal at that time with all your oppressors. I will save the lame, I'll gather the outcasts, and I'll turn to their shame into praise. I'll turn their shame into praise and renown in all the earth. And so there is a time coming. The world needs to go through some terrible times. Israel had to be totally taken out of Jerusalem. But as we know, Israel is going back, and there'll be a time that God will come and reign here on earth and restore. But the promise is only to those that know him, only those that are born again, that are part of his kingdom. Isaiah 35 verse 5, then the eyes of the blind will be opened, and the ears of the deaf will be unstopped. Then the lame will leap like deer, and the tongue of the mute will shout for joy. For the waters will break forth in the wilderness, and streams in Arabah. And then just Psalm 2 verse 6. But as for me, I've installed my king upon Zion, my holy mountains. And so we look forward to that day of Christ's Christ's return. But obviously, if you don't know Jesus, it'll be a terrible day. So if you don't know him, turn to him today and be saved. Amen.